Again, reiterate, I'm Judicial Miller, petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances. Be the dream. President Biden breaches his oath of office, as you can see here in the photograph, where he has raised his hands, and I will recite his oath of office. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will do, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Once again, this, you see, he has taken oath of office. He's been petitioned by the Constitution's checks and balances. The Constitution's checks and balances are petitioned when the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. Here you see President Joe Biden to the White House, and you see Constitution's checks and balances. As well, you must notice a transfer of power. Now, as he took oath of office to do this, the president received this certified mail. Let's get his name and everything up right. You can see President Biden. That's the certified mail number of which he received February the 2nd, 2021. This is February 27th, 2022. For a year, he has breached his oath of office. He is obligated morally and by law. Morally being the code of ethics. As you see this code of ethics stating, put loyalty to the highest moral principles and to country above loyalty to government persons, party, or department. Uphold the Constitution. As you just saw, it's been a year and he has not addressed the Constitution's checks and balances. He has not honored the Constitution's checks and balances. That is a breach of oath of office. Uphold the Constitution, laws, and legal regulations of the United States and of all governments therein, and never be a party to their evasion. As this is a fact, the president receiving this February the 9th, 2021, has evaded the Constitution's checks and balances petition. This is a fact that the president has breached his oaths of office. Major. Now, a breach of oath requires a termination of the tenure of office. It's adios. Get up out of here, man. I'm saying it. I am the petitioner's Constitution's checks and balances. I am a political figure. This power can be exercised by the appointing authority under the Constitution and according to the procedure, if any, prescribed therein. The prescribed procedure is the Constitution's checks and balances. This part of the checks and balances prevents Congress from abusing its power by making unjust laws. This power given to the people is currently being exercised in many states. I am empowered by the Constitution's checks and balances, which empowers the citizens. This power given to the people is currently being exercised in many states. This is for the nation. When the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, the entire branch of government is corrupt, which requires the Constitution's checks and balances. They must be checked. The president, as I said, received this one, and in the transfer of power, that's where the checks and balances empower the citizen to uphold the integrity of the Constitution, giving me, black man, Judicial Miller the authority or power to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience to the Constitution, checks and balances. He received that a year ago. He had to be compelled to do his duty. As we see, compelled means to force or oblige someone to do something, a sense of duty, compelled. This is his duty. He had to be compelled, of which he was. Once again, there you see the Constitution's checks and balances. Imposed obligations which President Biden violated, concealing from the public, which is his number one duty pursuant to Article 2, Section 3, to take care that the laws are faithfully enforced, of which I just proved by fact. This is a fact. He has to be held accountable. Now, this is a second time that he received this. Here he is now compelled to do it. His duty under Article 2, Section 3, as I read, to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. When, was it that in his oath of office? Faithfully execute the office of President of the United States with the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and let this out, defend the Constitution of the United States. This is the Constitution's checks and balances of which he fails to defend. While as he failed to defend, there's always a motive. Number one is money. All right. So, number two, his obligation is to the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland was to advise him to defend the Constitution checks and balances, of which he did not do. The FBI Director Christopher Wray, if you went to the FBI Wray.com .blogspot, you will see that the FBI Director has concealed the Constitution checks and balances. If you put all of them together, that is a conspiracy to deny rights, Title 18, Section 241, and oppress, of which Janet Yellen owes now. Y'all been watching this. Last time it was $6.75 billion. Continued oppression. That means you keep on owing me, because you ain't never paid me. You refuse to concede to the demands of the Constitution, of which he took oaths to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution's checks and balances, and now it's $8.075 billion of which he owed. Because it kept going up, man. That's the way that is. Penalties and interest, same thing they doing to every American in America. Penalties and interest. You don't pay the interest. Now you ain't paying the interest, you penalties. So you got to pay penalties and interest. Okay. That's how we got there from $50 million. If you start from $50 million, you have to go to $1 billion. They had no intentions of conceding to the demands of the Constitution. And that for the president, you refuse to do that. They've been presidents of Bill Clinton was one of them, and part of that was to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. Now, another motive is, I am empowered. I am in the game. I am the petitioner. I am a political figure having power. They didn't do it. Constitution empowers the citizen. I'm that man. How many times y'all heard that? I'm that man. Yeah, 50 Cent tell him, I'm the man. Yeah. So, that being so, I'm empowered to stop police brutality. Still, here we have what went on Minneapolis again, to reiterate, they not stopped doing this. Minneapolis park officer pulls a gun on a black woman after seeing her gun license. Now, let me see. She showed him she got a permit Now he pulls her gun on him. When he pulled that gun on her, that threatened her life. We already seen in Minneapolis, brother with his family in the car, murdered by the police, showing his gun permit. Come on, man. I'm empowered to stop this. Where they at? Well, I see one with me that y'all don't see. That be the Creator himself. Empowered and placed me in this position. It has to be the hand of the Creator to do something like this powerful. After 400 years, to stop the oppression. I'm empowered to stop police brutality. I'm empowered to stop inequality. And I'm empowered to stop social injustice. So what did they do? Pull a 52 fake out. Oh yeah, before we get there, we want to backtrack just a little bit on this Constitution checks and balances of which he took oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend. That's a breach of office requiring termination of the tenure. And he received this, as you will see, January 31st, 2022, but he received it February the 14th. This is now February the 27th. This is online so that he could address this before this. But what he tried to do was put one of them slick moves. Where you at? So we gotta find it over here. He appointed nominee for the United States Supreme Court. He cannot appoint. Here we go. Biden nominates Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Oh yeah, this was done Friday. Now, Ketanji Brown Jackson chosen as Biden's pick for the Supreme Court. He cannot nominate nobody for a pick for the United States Supreme Court when he didn't receive 2 checks and balances. Number 2 on here says, publicly acknowledge Judicial Branch as the petition of the Constitution. I'm empowered to uphold the integrity of the Constitution, having irrefutable evidence the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. We just said the judicial branch of government is corrupt, which he received, and then he turns around and makes a nomination to the United States Supreme Court as if it had any integrity, of if he conceded to the demands of the Constitution and checked them for corruption and abuse of power, of which he did not. That's a breach of oath of office. I already showed you. Article 2, Section 3, to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. The Constitution checks and balances is an essential part of the Constitution. That's how you uphold the integrity, by checking them. They refusing to check them. There is no integrity in that. He cannot nominate Ketanji Brown Jackson. Plain and simple. And since he's requires his impeachment, he cannot start no war, get in this war with Russia to stay in office. That's a move to be made. That's a move. Take that off the board. Just took the rook off. Hit by the bishop. This is chess, not checkers, and the game already been called. Checkmate. But the government, the media, do not want to see me because be the dream I am. Veteran Judicial Miller. That's right. Veteran. That's right. United States Air Force served to protect and defend the rights of all Americans' right to freedom, justice, and equality, and prosperity. This is what y'all did for me serving? No. Do not. I thank you for your service. Stand up. This time has come. The president is all out left field. That's concealment of a crime. Title 18, 1001. That's concealment. That's a criminal act. That's in conspiracy. Had to be in conspiracy with the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, who was sent to take this to him to advise him to defend the Constitution, checks and balances. He's supposed to defend it, not harbor corruption in the United States Supreme Court. Impose slavery. That's our right to freedom. Major League Baseball, you use the Constitution's checks and balances to get justice. That's how we get justice in America. They have to be checked. Equality. I'm empowered to stop inequality. That's how we get equality in the United States, using the law. It had to be back. No, I kept telling you, I told you, all of them protests and stuff did nothing. They doing the same thing. And do I reiterate again? Yeah. She showed him her license and he showed her that pistol. Anything can happen in the spur of the moment. Get shook by the diversion. The diversion is Russia. The diversion was COVID-19. That's a diversion because this takes precedence over all matters to government to run a good government. They concealing this to stay crooked, to continue white supremacy, doing what they want instead of what the Constitution requires. Freedom, justice, and equality for all. We didn't say black lives matter. We didn't say white lives matter. We're saying what the Constitution says for all citizens. That's everybody. Mexicans, Chinese, everybody join in. It's supposed to have been a patriotic protest. That means all America has to stand up. The government cannot do these corrupt things, requiring their impeachment. It's a lot more gotta go. Like I said, the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland had knowledge of this, ain't said nothing about this. I pull out his certified mail receipt. The FBI Director, Christopher Wray, I can pull out his certified mail receipt. Police officers, sheriffs have not executed the indictments. That's what they do. That's how the government is run. They've been arresting all of y'all, but all of a sudden they have times to expose what's really going on. The Maryland doctrine of exclusion to keep blacks subservient. My status quo is that of a billionaire. Now $8 billion. My status quo, I'm a political figure now. Political. Yeah, I'm in the game. I am the petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances. I'm in the game. I'm empowered by the Constitution checks and balances. So the president has breached his oath of office. Like I said, he did this to keep up the good old boys thing. It's been exposed now. See, once it says come bring it from darkness to light, then it becomes fruition. Immediately order the treasury to disperse $3.14 billion. That's what it's saying right there. He didn't do that. He's practicing the Maryland doctrine of exclusion to keep me subservient. I'm retired. Supposed to be retired with $3 billion, take care of my family, and I represent we the people. So now we the people, poor people, have banks where they can get a loan and don't have to worry about their credit score. 400-500, they ain't getting no loan, no cars, no nothing, not nothing. I open the doors for them. This opens the door, as I said to Justice, impose slavery. I don't think Indiana's in full compliance with the federal government's motor voter registration law. As a result of that, we don't get a fair cross-section in the veneer, and as a result of that, my client's rights under the federal and state constitution to a fair and impartial jury as mandated, that means mandatory, that's what you must do, through the 14th Amendment and through the federal legislation, I think that's been violated. Here it is in right, that's been violated. And what Judge David Kiley said, Show it overruled. This man just overruled the federal and the state constitutions. It's been sent to the United States Attorney Generals, and nobody has filed any charges against him. He's allowed to violate both the federal and the state constitutions. I said there is a violation, Your Honor. Show it overruled. He overruled both the federal and the state constitutions. The United States Supreme Court violated the habeas corpus. Here it is. Received United States Supreme Court. Petitioner is entitled to injunctive relief for my immediate release from illegal imprisonment with reparations from judgment of the proceedings in the Indiana Vandenberg County Circuit County Court that was so lawless that imprisonment pursuant to them is void, and therefore res judicata, as I told y'all before, means the previous judgment is inapplicable in a habeas corpus proceeding. This is the habeas corpus. And as you see, that didn't just happen one time. That happens twice. Again, we see that February 22nd. The petitioner's restraint is in violation of the Constitution and the laws of the United States and filed a writ of habeas corpus. The writ's fruit principle is that government must always be accountable to the judiciary for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary is the judges. If the imprisonment cannot be shown to conform with the fundamental requirements of law, the individual is entitled to his immediate release. They ignored the whole thing. That's dereliction of duty. When the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, the entire branch of government is corrupt. The President of the United States cannot nominate nobody for nothing. His duty is to defend the Constitution, uphold the Constitution, and address the Constitution's checks and balances. Acknowledge me as I am empowered to stop inequality, social injustice, and police brutality. Again, I reiterate, it ain't stopped. Yeah, y'all nominating a black woman to be a justice of the United States Supreme Court, but what did that do? Y'all trying to trade that in for a nomination when this we already got. It has to be acknowledged by the president, and I stop inequality. 400 years of injustice stops right now, but no, you trade that in for notoriety. Freedom, justice, and equality in the pursuit of happiness are the essentials of the Constitution for all citizens. I can end it right there. And as I said, Congress hold President Biden accountable. You will see the indictments of those preventing, that's obstruction of justice. This is a part of the Constitution. They must be checked. How uphold the integrity, they must be checked. The president is preventing them being checked by refusing to defend the Constitution's checks and balances of what he took oath of office to. Breach of office, once again, the last time I'm going to show you. Breach of oath requires a termination of the tenure of office. There you have it. Next to the last day of Black History Month, this is real history. I understand the proximity of having a black woman on the Supreme Court, but you must understand this comes before that, as the chicken came before the egg. I'm just saying, before you can lay that egg, you gotta see me. And the president, well, and the treasurer, well, the president needs to be gone, and the treasurer needs to pay me $8 billion. End of the sentence, period. And don't be starting no war to stay in office. I know about that too. Walter, did I do it? A, be the dream. I am the petitioner of the Constitution, checks and balances. I am a political figure. Honor the Constitution, checks and balances. Congress, everybody, all y'all obligated to do this right here. It's one accord that you must do, and that's uphold the integrity of the Constitution of what they have failed to do. We're going to get in on that one, the next one. Holler back. Yahweh.